Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching. I am your host, the Report of the Week, and thank you for checking in. So every single day I get asked lots of questions, be that on YouTube through the comments, on Twitter or Instagram, or even on Patreon. I should say obligatory, good way to support the channel, patreon.com/TheReportOfTheWeek. But I get lots of questions asked to me, so I decided, alright, let's take a few of them, and let's provide those much-needed answers and secrets to the universe. This is by far, a 100% guarantee, most interesting video of 2019 coming your way. So first and foremost, let's just get right into the questions. First ones are from some of our supporters at Patreon. If you weren't a YouTuber, what kind of job would you have? Now that's a good question, because with YouTube, everything kind of just evolved naturally, but what I believe I'd probably be doing, if I wasn't doing the YouTube, is maybe some sort of work in radio or broadcasting. Right now on the side I do some consulting work for international broadcast, but I'd probably maybe devote more time to radio or communications, but in the end, who's really to say, you know? Sometimes you have this image in your mind that you're going to do one thing, and then it ends up being totally different. If you were somehow able to change one thing about the way we live, or the way the world is now, what would you choose to do and why? Now that's a serious question. I would try and change it so that people could be maybe a little bit more caring, a little more, just having that care toward other people in the world, I think would go a long way, and I think it would really improve the world in such massive ways. But otherwise, if it wasn't really meant that way, in regards to like a characteristic of people, then I would change it so that fast food overall would taste better, because, it is going down a slippery slope, and I hope that it definitely gets better quality-wise soon. What did your favorite birthday cake look like? I was always a big fan of cookie cakes for birthdays. I just think they taste the best. That's just my 2 cents. Like, ice cream cakes and all that is pretty good. Sometimes it gets overwhelming, so I always like cookie cakes, and that's always my favorite by far. Going over to YouTube to a few comments. This one I've been getting a lot lately. When are you going to try the Impossible Whopper? Right now it is being released only in select locations as a test, though I think they did say later in the year they are going to try to do a national release. So when it is released nationally, whenever that ends up being, be that in August or September, or maybe in February, maybe February, 17th, year 3002, I'll be there and I'll make sure I try it out when it is released. You're almost as white as your shirt. Are you a ghost? Only on Thursdays, 4 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Why does he look like a squirrel from Fukushima's? I don't think I've ever really gotten that one before. I've gotten called a groundhog from Chernobyl a couple times, but never a squirrel from Fukushima. Well, if I do look like a squirrel that was radioactively contaminated, I will sport that look with pride, and I will say, I am a proud Fukushima squirrel. So, no harm, no foul, and if that's just the way that I look, that's the way that I look. Now this one gets asked to me too sometimes. I guess it's Jax, says, are you a character or are you real? I was trying to mimic the little yellow ball with the 3 ovals and then the pink. I don't know if that's a shower cap or if that's its brains or whatnot. Am I a character or am I real? What I always like to say is what you see is what you get. In so much that, it's me that's on the camera. Now, of course, like during certain reviews and certain things, I'm more boisterous and bombastic than other times. What I always like to defer to, because I think it's just the best thing, is if you want to see more of me, aside from, let's just say, the food reviews, then check out my podcast. It's something that I do each and every Thursday. You can find it at youtube.com/VORW podcast, and it's a good way to just hear my take on various current events, moral, philosophical topics, just random stuff suggested by the listening audience, but it is just a good way to see things really beyond the food reviews. So that's where that stands. What's your favorite color and why? Easily it is black. Black is my favorite color. I just think it's so elegant, so sleek, very refined, just goes with so much. I just really like the color black. Otherwise, gray is good. You know, I'm going with a gray suit right now. I always am a fan of, like, the subdued colors. Like, I mean, right now, you look at what I've got on. Right? I've got this darker gray suit. Even though I have the red tie going, it's not really like a bright red. You know, it's like a darker red. And I just like these subdued colors, be that gray, of course, certain shades of blue, of course, even certain shades of red, and you know, all of those colors are nice. I just don't like the extremely loud colors, though they do work in some aspects. Hey, Reviewbrah, I found your lost brother. And then they have a side-by-side comparison of two guys there. The guy on the left is not my long-lost brother at all, I'm sorry. Sometimes you get a lot of cases of mistaken identity where, you know, someone will post a picture and they'll say, oh, yeah, this looks like you, or is this related? But the guy on the left there, that is not related to me at all. You can see the eyes, compared to me on the right there, way too light. So that's a dead giveaway. Facial structure is all wrong. Hair is totally different. The hair color is off. So I don't know who that guy is on the left there, but that is not my long-lost brother at all. So I'm afraid to disappoint you there, but that just is not... no relation, no similarity. Do you have a Whataburger close to you? Unfortunately, I don't. Those are some places that I've always wanted to try, but I have never had the opportunity to do so. 3 places that get suggested to me a lot are Whataburger, Jack in the Box, and In-N-Out Burger. Those 3 are really, like, pretty big West Coast, maybe Central U.S. chains to some extent. And unfortunately, none of those are nearby, but if I was nearby any of them, you know, I would definitely try them out. I had the chance to go to In-N-Out Burger once, and it was delicious, so if I get the chance, I'll definitely check it out. This one gets asked from time to time, what happens to all the food you don't eat? Now that's a good question. What I usually do is I'll collect the scraps, and whether it's in the wrapping, you know, its container or not, I'll usually collect the scraps, I'll gather them, and over time I'll build them all into a giant nest, and then I'll lay down on top of it, and that's where I'll sleep when I get tired. Esteban wants to know, were you raised by your grandparents? No, I wasn't. That's another frequently asked question. I was very close to my grandmother when I was quite young, but I was never raised by my grandparents at all. You know, it's just a good relationship, but of course some people will see the way that I look and the way that I dress, and they'll say, oh, you had to be raised by your grandmother or your grandparents or whatnot. But I was not. Like I said, you know, really good connection, but I never was. You know, the way I look is just the way I look. That's just how I choose to present myself, and that's where that stands. You know, if for some reason I just wanted to wear graphic tees all day, that's what I would wear. I just enjoy the suits, because that's what really makes me happy, and that's just what my attire of choice is. Alrighty. Have you ever tried a lactating sack of toenail sandwiches? If not, you're missing out. No, I never had, I'm afraid. I've never tried them. I have heard the reviews for them, and I've seen people, you know, make the recipe and try them out. I never had the chance to try out the lactating sack of toenail sandwiches. Going onward, what did you do to your hair in the most recent Papa John's review? So what I did was I wanted to try to, you know, do it up a little bit differently for a big release. So I took the pepperoni, because it's a very greasy, you know, very oily pizza. You know how the pepperoni can be. And I kind of, before I filmed it, I wrung out some of the excess grease, and then I ran it through my hair like that. So it may not have had that hold or shine that Brill Cream usually does, but it was included for maximum flavor absorption. you can go with that if you want. In reality, I didn't put anything in my hair that day. But if you'd rather go with the pepperoni approach, if you want to believe that, then go for it. You can just say, yeah, Reviewbrah just put a lot of pepperoni oil in his hair for some reason. You can go for that one, but really I just didn't put anything in my hair that time. Meow or roof? That's in regards to dogs and cats. While I don't have anything against dogs, I do have a preference toward the meows. And, I'm just more of a cat person than a dog person, but it's not like I say, oh, I detest dogs. Not at all. Dogs are fine, and, you just really got to show those dogs that love, care, and attention that they need. You have to be very attentive and have that high energy to properly care for a dog. So, of course, I just prefer cats, but dogs don't bother me in the least. What type of music do you listen to? I'm really open to any genres, so, I'll listen to something that's popular right now on Top 40 radio. I'll listen to, any era, any genre. Of course, I have my preferences. Like, my favorite stuff is indie rock, alternative rock, post-grunge, and a lot of oldies, classic rock. But really, I'm open to anything. Like, the last few days I've kind of been going on a Paul Simon kick. I just like his sound, but, I'm open to anything. Back when I used to really do the music show, I would get so many requests of different genres and eras, and it was just a lot of fun to be able to see all these different types of music, so I'm really open to anything. Have you been recognized in public / getting food by fans? How do you react? A while ago I made a video about getting recognized, and it pretty much holds true, where if someone stops me and recognizes me, I'm completely fine with that. That doesn't bother me at all. All is good. As a matter of fact, if someone wants a picture, that's totally fine. The only thing, of course, is that it's a little unnerving when you see people trying to take, like a creep shot of you. That's never fun. So as long as there's just goodwill and, everything will be alright. Everything will be fine. I have no problem with getting recognized. As a matter of fact, the other day there were some car troubles and I was broken down on the side of the road in the middle of the night, and the tow truck driver recognized me from YouTube, and he wanted to get a picture, and I said, oh, absolutely, just make sure the lighting is good, and all will be well. And I'm not, that doesn't bother me one single bit. And last question coming in from Jason. How big is your penis? I don't know what a penis is. I have no idea. I don't know if I could answer that when I don't even know what that is. Let me look this up. Penis. Panera bread. Paninis. I'm sorry, so I can't even give you an answer there because I just don't know what that is in regards to its size or relation there too. So I'm sorry, I cannot give you an answer there. I'm just not qualified to give such a statement, as I don't feel myself qualified on such matters when I really don't know what's being talked about. So with that, hope this video was enjoyable. If you have any questions that you would like to ask me, just leave it as a comment. Just comment. Go ahead. You have nothing to lose by asking, and you never know. Maybe I'll make another video covering whatever is asked. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'm your host, The Report of the Week.